And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thomson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
All right. It is time for the Weighing In podcast. We were going over movies and different types of things. And all right. What is that from? Tell me right now. And who said it?
I couldn't tell you, but I know that Matthew McConaughey said it. That's all
Bingo.
I know. I couldn't tell you what
one.
movie, though. I don't watch TV, John. We've had this discussion multiple times.
I don't watch TV either.
I don't watch TV. It's like...
Is it Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
No. That was Sean Penn. Matthew McConaughey wasn't in that. What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I'm 25.
Was Matthew McConaughey even
Jeff
born during that time?
Spicoli.
Jeff Spicoli.
Jeff Spicoli, one of the greatest characters ever. Mr. Hahn.
Okay, but tell me, what movie is it? Stop pussyfooting around the shit. Like, just...
You know, it's a good question because I could be wrong on this one. I was thinking the Dallas Buyers Club, but it might be a different one.
Which one is it? You know which one it is, George?
I know the one where he goes,
Oh, which one's that? Which one's that?
That's fucking, that's the one on.
Dazed and Confused. That's what
no. What are you doing?
That's where Matthew McConaughey first said, all right. And
Oh,
Dazed
all right, from Dazed and Confused.
The Wolf of Wall Street is.
That movie is-
Oh, The Wolf of Wall Street is that one?
I gotta answer one question at a time, boy.
Okay.
You
Getting off in all different
Yeah,
directions.
you got to catch up with us, man. We can multitask. I watch
Tell
Oprah,
you,
and she
man.
she talks about multitasking.
Oprah. You don't watch TV, but you watch Oprah.
Yeah, it's my time well spent, man. Time well spent.
Wow. That's some TV. That's some TV.
You know
right
damn
there,
good
man.
well. I mean, I used to watch Phil Donahue when I was a kid.
Oh, damn, Phil Donahue. Now,
How many of you old bastards remember that shit, huh?
Yeah, Mr. Phil Donahue with the big glasses and the gray hair.
Yep, he was. Yep. When Oprah was still just a young little miss. She was young back then. Oh, man. All right, look, we got an action-packed weekend, though. But, hey, before we talk about these, we're going to actually bring you in on the odds because guess what? We got some great odds from BetUS, and we got the pay-per-view going on this weekend. Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad. If you guys haven't checked out the Bilal Muhammad interview, it's down below in our channel. Check that out. He came on the show. We had a great conversation with him. He even gave us a little bit of his tidbits on why he's always ranked as an underdog. That's one. And two is who he kind of likes in the Trump-Biden situation. You know, but now it's all changed. But hey,
there is no Biden.
It's a great little
Biden
interview.
done jumped.
He's jumped. The
Biden
train.
fell in a hole.
He jumped the train. But he's
But
that interview is down below.
Biden went the way of your hairline.
You are messing up. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's getting a little thin up there, though, John. It is. I cut it a little shorter today, though. Yesterday.
Is that what it is?
I got a haircut.
It's looking a little darker, so it's a little wet or something.
It is a little wet.
like
I actually
that.
use
Okay,
a
I
wetting
like that.
gel today. I normally use the drying type gel. Yeah,
I do admit I need to stop attacking your hairline.
No.
I got to come up with something else.
I mean, you have the
Go
hairline,
ahead.
but it's looking more like a V now. So it's not.
It's always looked like a
And
V.
I've
It's
said
kinda
like it's not hair loss. It's just facial gain. You're gonna be all forehead here pretty soon.
shit, dude, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Mine still goes across straight. Yours,
Yeah, mine has not changed ever.
that you know we used to call those like widow peaks or something like that.
Widow
but now
peak,
it's just one big peak. It's not even a widow peak. It's just one big peak.
I could be a widow.
Yeah. Oh man, John, I'm really pumped for this weekend's fights, man. This card,
it's a great card.
is going to be
great card.
It's going to be a fun card.
Yeah.
Like I'm be honest, like
14 fights on it.
yeah, that's a lot though.
I
if
like
you-
that.
If you're working, the
If it's a pay-per-view,
yeah, but you're not
I
getting
like
14 on the pay-per-view. Like the
no,
other
I
ones
know
are free.
that, but you're getting, for the most part, there's quality fights
Yeah.
on the main event when you're looking at it. Even
Absolutely.
what I call the prelim main event is a great fight between Nathaniel Wood and Daniel Pineda, who he's a dog, but Nathaniel Wood is just tough as hell. So that's a great fight. You know, starting it off is Arnold Allen against Giga Chikadze. Come on.
You know, I heard the Mokaev fight got moved. It's on the prelims now.
Ooh,
I just saw
Really
something on Instagram. I think it could be fake news.
I don't know.
You know,
about that.
there's a lot of that going around these
It
days.
says it's on the early prelim.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard it got moved, which is kind of surprising to me. because I'm looking at the prelims. I don't know who they would have bumped up, or if it's a time constraint thing that they decided to go with just the 4 fights instead of the 5.
But that fight, the one you're talking about with him and Manel Kape.
Yeah.
Hello.
I know, but why is
That's
it
a great fight.
Why is it on the prelims now? Yeah.
I don't know.
That doesn't
someone pissed off the big dog.
I want to know what I would love to know. Can you find out, George, possibly which fight they decided to replace it with?
I do know that Mokaev did come out, saying that the UFC was holding him back because they didn't want him to be the youngest champion and take John Jones's record. And I'm thinking to myself, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care.
But okay.
Yeah, if they can make you the youngest champion, they will. You want to know why? Because they don't want to They don't want to fall victim to one person holding them hostage. If they'll give another person an opportunity, they can brag on it. And plus, if they could say you're the youngest champion for the next 10 years because you're an active fighter, they would rather have that than John Jones fighting 1 a year. And okay, sure, he may be the greatest of all time, but he's going to be disappearing here within the next, I'd say, 2 years. And so when he's gone, they're going to be like, all right, now he can just sit around and brag about it, but he's never going to do anything for us. He doesn't seem like someone's going to continue to be around the company after he's gone.
No, you want someone who's actually active in the company and fighting and is going to be fighting for a while. The youngest champion in UFC, of course you want that. That's good.
George, while we're talking, I want you to do something for me. Will you pull up there was an ESPN or a Sports Center, I think it was an ESPN's like top athlete list. John Jones came in at number 66. They had fucking badminton people ranked ahead of him or some shit. John, like, I want to say Dana said something about it, but I'm like, you got to be kidding me, though, to be honest. They had NASCAR drivers ranked at like number 5 or 6. Don't get me wrong.
Well, hold on.
I got a lot of appreciation for NASCAR drivers.
What was the whole category?
The best athletes.
Best athletes.
Yes, the best.
Ranking the top 100 professional athletes since the year 2000.
There you go.
Yeah, but is it also? Hold on. Because you got to be honest and take a look at it and say, okay, what are they meaning? Are they saying that this is the best athlete that they can do, the most things, or is it this is the most popular person in their sport, the one that can actually bring eyeballs and things like that?
No, because if you go to like ESPN, I think it there was a couple that were like people I'd never even heard of that were ranked like number 12 or number 18.
Well, number 2 is Serena Williams.
I get it. No, I get it. I get it. Tennis is not an easy sport.
Don't bring in John McEnroe, man.
No. but in terms of athlete, she dominated the sport. Hold on.
She's a phenomenal athlete. And
absolutely.
The best part about Serena Williams is this. When she was put on the spot, because John McEnroe ate a ton of crap for being honest. Okay, and look at there's just a difference there. And she went and said, on a talk show, she said, "I can't play with the men." And I think she said
Andy Murray. She said Andy Murray. And
Andy Murray would beat me 6-0, 6-0
in like 10 minutes.
She goes She goes, "I can't compete with him." And you look and you go, that's why I love you. Yeah. And you're a phenomenal athlete yourself who dominates in the women's category that you compete in, and you're fantastic.
Yep.
But
what I liked about her was that, she had to face her sister several times. And, and a couple times in the finals. That being said, never did it look like that the two of them were having a sparring match, like how Chael and Anderson Silva.
Well, you got to figure in the beginning, Venus was the better player. She was the more popular player.
She was the older and the physically bigger player too at the time.
Well, I don't know about physically.
She was taller. Yeah, she was taller.
Taller. Yeah, she's taller. But I'll tell you
once Serena filled out,
Serena Williams is built like a damn Abrams tank. She is just
in the most polite way John meant
that. She looks great. She looks fantastic.
Not sure what an Abrams tank looks like, but I can't imagine it being
Abrams tank's pretty damn sexy.
Okay. Good recovery, John. Great recovery.
Thank you very much.
No, she was phenomenal to watch play. But I mean, there was other athletes. Give me some other athletes on there. Can you there, George? I would say I'm cool with number 2 for her in there because basically she dominated the sport. She beat her own sister to get there.
Who was number 1?
Yeah, who was number 1?
So number 1, they had Michael Phelps.
Oh my God.
I mean, I could see that. Most Olympic
Bullshit.
gold medalists ever won in the
Bullshit.
Summer Games. Yeah, I could see it.
Look at unbelievable in his sport. But if you're gonna
John Jones not fucking winning basketball tournaments. He's
First-
not playing in the
first off.
NBA. He's not in
First
the
off.
NFL.
take a swimmer and put him into a fucking football game. See what happens. Take a swimmer and put him into
number 66.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yes.
George, is
So-
something going on with your headset? Is it plugged in?
Can you let me talk? Gosh, damn it.
George,
boy.
George,
Mia
assert
Hamm,
yourself.
64, soccer. That's the point I'm trying to make. Allison Felix, track,
Uh-huh.
ranked above him.
Jeez.
Shohei Ohtani is number 62. That makes some sense. But Candace Parker, number 60. We got,
No.
let's see.
Candace Parker's not ranked ahead of John Jones.
We got
Sorry.
Alexa.
Phenomenal basketball player, but no.
We have whoever this soccer player lady is.
I would rank her above
Rank-
John Jones too, though.
Just on
Well,
look.
that's just off a look.
Just strictly on looks, though. I'm going strictly on looks.
There's soccer players that are, I can't pronounce. There's too many Z's in their name,
Yeah.
They don't deserve that.
I guess the bottom line is, what we're trying to get to is that John Jones got a little disrespected. I think in the rankings for that. At least
I
on
don't
my
know.
side, I think.
I just look at it this way: take all 100 athletes, stick them in a room at the same time with John
See
Jones.
who
and
walks
John
out.
Jones is still the one walking out. If they all go after him.
Oh,
Ah,
jeez. There's got to be some sort of power lifter in there that just bench press him. There's got to be one.
I don't know. Maybe
Shaquille
there is.
O'Neal's on the list. How do you think Shaquille O'Neal versus John Jones would do? Prime Shaq.
Prime
Prime
Shaq.
Shaq? Prime Shaq?
Yeah, we got to throw it in.
Stop.
I think he might actually smash John.
Oh, stop.
Don't be so
Yeah.
don't be so mad.
Look at I'm friends with Shaq. I love him. He's a phenomenal person and one of the greatest basketball players, especially
absolutely.
for a time he was the best. He is not doing anything with John Jones.
He would have just thrown John to the ground like a child.
Yeah,
Like how DC threw that little girl to the ground that one time at the Easter party. He'd just be like, "Get away!" Ugh. That's what Shaq would have done to John Jones. I'm
that would have been the last act of Shaq's life.
All right, look, we've rambled on long enough,
We
and
have.
yeah, you know what? Before we get started, though, I want to thank LMNT for continuing to sponsor us. Yeah, check out their Yetis, man. Stay salty, my friends. But yeah, we're very thankful for them. They've been doing a great job with their product. Guys,
Dude,
use our link down
I
below.
live
Purchase
on
from
it.
them, and John lives off because he lives on the farm.
I do.
So-
I live on that stuff. I honestly drink at least 4 a day.
Mm.
4 elements a day.
That's 4,000 milligrams of salt, buddy.
Yeah, and
That's
that's
a lot.
making my blood just.
No, but I'm telling you, like I said, I have noticed a difference. I drink 2 a day. I drink 1 in the morning after a run, and then I do 1 lit throughout the day. I do suggest if you are going to drink them out of the can, when you can buy them the bubbly ones, the sparkling ones, if you can
The
buy
bubbles?
those, yeah. If you buy
The
those ones,
Bublé
make
ones?
sure you keep them cold. And if you're going to mix them, if you buy the packets, make sure you mix them with cold water, put a little ice in them too, and shake them. They taste a
Now
lot
you're
better
mixing
cold.
them? You're
What's that?
mixing it?
I am mixing them. I am.
No, I think
mixing.
look, when you're sweating your ass off
Mm.
and you got just man, it makes you feel better. Within 5 minutes, you feel like, hey, I feel better.
Absolutely. I mean,
they're
I'm
great.
telling you, salt loading changed my life when I was fighting. I started salt loading in the morning. My performances got better on my runs, got better during my sparring. I was just dehydrated throughout the day. Didn't realize that my muscles were starving for salt to keep, for them to retain water so they could repair themselves. It's very important if you're trying to build muscle, if you're trying to keep an active lifestyle, to stay salty. So make sure you guys check out our link down below for LMNT. You guys purchase through them, and they will send you bonus packages and extra gifts and all the other stuff that come along with buying through our link, because that's a VIP link for all of our listeners, for you guys. We want to thank you guys for continuing to support us.
My farm needs the earth, the air, and the water. I get my energy going on LMNT Electrolyte Drink Mix. Clean, good tasting energy that feeds me like I feed my plants and animals. And after a long day on the tractor, when it's time to shoot the podcast, I drink LMNT so that I can stay energized and stay salty. Let's get it on.
All right, John, let's jump right into the main event, though.
Look, I think it's a fantastic matchup. Like Leon Edwards has gotten better and better and better throughout, his time as rising up to become the champion. The knockout of Kamaru was just phenomenal because Kamaru was going to win that fight. Coming back and winning it was incredible. And then, but his repeat fight, third fight actually with Kamaru, he looked great. I do agree with Bilal that his output against Colby Covington was not what I thought it should be, but I thought he was being very careful about the takedowns and didn't want to be underneath him. So he's just a solid fighter everywhere now, because he used to only be a kickboxer, and his kickboxing is fantastic. His striking is smooth, and he's long, and he uses his range well, and he controls distance. But his wrestling, and especially his defensive wrestling, he will be offensive with it, but his defensive wrestling is so good now. You've got to really chain your techniques together to try to get him to the ground. You try one thing as far as, you go to a single leg, you go to a double leg, and then back to the single leg. You're not getting him. He can keep it on the feet. Now, Bilal is in that position in my estimation. He absolutely deserves this fight. He's done everything he's supposed to do. He's beaten the very best guys out there, everyone they can put against him. The one question that everyone talks about is, well, they were in the cage together for one round, and Bilal was losing. It's one round.
Yeah.
It's one round. And the fight, look at it. Bilal needs to take this fight. He thinks he's going to get it by the third round, he said. I think he needs to get it into the later rounds, because one of the things that Bilal does have is phenomenal cardio. He can keep going, he can keep pushing, and he needs to do that in a similar fashion that, Kamaru Usman did it the first time that he fought Leon Edwards. He just squashed him with pressure, and Bilal needs to use that.
Yeah, I would agree with you that there's ways for both fighters to win this fight. The constant pressure by Bilal Muhammad to try to slow Leon down as the fight goes on. I think Bilal's got to survive the first 3 rounds, because of the speed, the athleticism, the accuracy of his striking will be on point. We saw that that Leon can actually get distracted a little bit, kind of complacent during the fight with the Nate Diaz fight. He just got like, whatever, nothing's going on.
Did you say Nate Diaz fight?
When he fought Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz almost knocked him out.
Thank you. Are you in the 5th round?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I said, correct?
I wasn't sure. I thought you said Nick Diaz.
No, Nate Diaz. When he got complacent during that fight, and it almost cost him. And so I look at Bilal. Bilal is very focused. He understands what this. They've waited so long to give him a title shot. I mean, he's basically 45 years old now because he's waited so damn long. Like he should have gotten this title shot probably, I'd say 2 fights ago, maybe like 1 fight earlier. But he's been on a rampage. He's been doing everything that they've asked him to do. I love how he has gotten better. He's not just a grinder, someone that puts pressure, wrestles you, takes you down, tries to maul you, and inks out decisions. He is fighting very smart. He'll stand on the feet and exchange with you, and then he'll wrestle you a little bit to keep you guessing. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. I'm excited for him to get the title shot. I'm a huge Leon Edwards fan. I think that this is his fight to lose, though, as well. I love Bilal and I love Leon. I think both of them will make a very good fight. But if I'm going by the odds from BetUS, John, the odds have changed since we talked last. The odds were plus 175 for Bilal. Now it's plus 210 for Bilal. So more people are taking the Leon to win this fight.
Going on Leon.
And the other thing, Bilal's been very adamant and very outspoken about the fact that this fight will end early. He's like, I plan on finishing him in round 2 or round 3. I've heard it a couple different ways now, so I'm sure if he's undecided still. But he keeps saying, either round 2 or round 3. He wants to finish him by round 3. I think if he gets to finishes, it'll be later. It'll be round 4 or round 5. That's where I think. But the over on this fight is minus 225. I mean, if you're a betting person, the under is plus 185. So if you're a betting person, throw 25, throw 50 down, on the under. If people feel,
but where's the under at?
4.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I kind of look at it as where I think that Leon could either finish him before the 4.5, or I could see Belal potentially catching him in one of the exchanges, while backing up and putting his back foot to the fence, because there will be this okay, I'm afraid of the takedown. Not really afraid of the takedown. I just know the takedown's coming. Once we get close enough to the fence, he may try to shoot. And so the hands tend to drop a little bit here and there, and Belal may be able to set it up to land something clean against the fence and really get Leon in trouble. You can see the knockout happen that way. There's so many different ways this fight could play out, John.
You have to look at the list of people that Belal has been fighting and the success that he's had with those people, because it's a variety of different types of styles. When you're talking about Wonder Boy, he's unique unto himself. A difficult fight for most people, and Belal fought that beautifully. Gilbert Burns, another guy, a difficult task because he's got power in his hands, and you don't want to go to the ground with him because he's a freaking monster down there, but did a beautiful job with him. Vicente Luque, when he was riding high when Belal had his fight with him and just dominated the fight.
Yep.
You look at all those, and the Sean Brady fight.
That was the most impressive one to me.
Man, he looks so good in that fight, and that's the thing that you're looking for is, has the fighter basically stayed the same? Have they plateaued and they're doing the same thing, they're getting wins, or are they still getting better? And I'm going to say both of these guys are still getting better. I definitely know that Belal is still getting better. Yeah. And I believe that, Leon is too. I look at it that Leon has got to be very careful in this, like he was with Colby, which in a way kind of shows me that, okay, your output is going to be a little bit less, but it has to be for him to be smart enough not to leave the openings for Belal to be able to take him down.
Well, John, I'm gonna hit you with a prop bet on this one too. If you guys are listening to Belal right now is at plus 750 to win by KO, TKO, or DQ. So at a plus 750, you throw $25 down, $50 down.
It's a great prop bet.
I mean, if when you're dealing with somebody who is as focused as Belal Muhammad is right now, his whole goal in the last 8-9 fights is just strictly, let me get to Leon. I have the remedy to beat him. I can beat him. I think a lot of people, maybe even Leon, is looking back to their first fight going, man, I was touching him up. I was doing this. I was doing that. He was having a hard time getting in. He had a good first round. But John, it's the first round. That's one.
That's my whole point.
And two is,
I see everyone just laying it all on that one round. Yeah. And I'm like, that's one round, dude.
And number two is, that was how many fights ago? And they've both gotten a lot better since then. They have, but to me, Belal was a completely different
Belal's stand-up, he's much more confident in his stand-up now than he was when he faced Leon the first time.
I mean, so that's a prop bet that if you're listening to what Belal's saying, the motivation's got you, you're feeling a little frisky on that prop bet is available at BetUS at plus 750 for a KO, TKO, or DQ. That might be something that you might want to look into. You can also head on down if you think that Leon has a chance to win by KO, TKO, and or DQ at plus 250. The one that kind of people underestimate, Leon's grappling. His wrestling is there, his submission game, his grappling is really good. If you went back and watched the Gunnar Nelson fight, what did he do to Gunnar Nelson? Dominated him. Dominated him. Yeah. Okay, so if you're going to look at submissions, that's an even bigger prop bet at plus 1,400 for Leon Edwards to win by submission. I think it's going to be a tough task, but I don't see that winning by submission. But I'm saying, like, if you're feeling like, hey, you know what? I could throw $25 down on a plus 1,400. Something to think about. That's a good little possible bet to throw out. So, I mean, I look at this matchup is they both have their ways to win. It's going to be I think it's going to be a highly contested fight, more so than people think. And I'm looking forward. And how much does the crowd get to the Belal? And how much does the crowd actually amp up or help Leon Edwards? Or does it work against him? It's never easy fighting at home, especially those first couple times where now you're the main event. You're the big dick on stage. That's what's going on right there. And so
you're the one people are coming to see.
Yep. And so it's a little bit more, it's a little different to be that man on there. So
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
Think about this. You're a 170-pound champ. and you are the main event over the heavyweights.
Yeah, but it's an interim.
You,
What's an interim?
it doesn't matter. He's the best heavyweight right now in the world.
I agree with you.
Tom Aspinall is the best heavyweight in the world right now.
Okay, so obviously you're picking Tom Aspinall again.
I just gave you my who I'm picking.
I'm not gonna try to change your mind because I truthfully believe that Tom Aspinall right now is the best heavyweight fighter in the world.
Very good.
He's got all the tools. He's got size. He's got speed. He's got power. He can wrestle. He has a ground game. The guy's just good, and he's getting better all the time. Now again, they're going to go back and talk about, what Curtis did in the first fight. Josh, I've watched that. Mm-hmm. He hardly touched him.
Yeah.
People are sitting there saying, "Oh, he's lighting him up." Bullshit. I don't know what. Getting hit in the arms and shoulders is not being hit. That's called good defense. Okay. He hurt his knee. Curtis did everything he was supposed to. He gets the win. Aspinall had a bad luck, horrible thing happen. He, blows out his knee, goes down. Okay. But you can't take anything out of that first fight. There's nothing there. You look at it and you go, there was nothing that truly happened. There was a lot of misses. And then there was a guy that stepped back and blew out his knee. Shit happens. But in this matchup now, with the fights that Tom Aspinall has had since, and the confidence that he has now, and the true belief factor, I'm telling you right now, I like Curtis Blaydes as a fighter. I think he's a good wrestler. But I saw Jailton Almeida toss him around for a little while there too.
Yeah.
In the wrestling. And I don't think that his wrestling is that much better than Tom Aspinall's. It's good, but so's Aspinall's. And so I just look at Aspinall as a problem for everybody in the heavyweight division. You're looking at the one guy that can give everyone just problems.
Yeah, I agree. I think, but it all happens. What happens is who shows up that night.
That's true.
Who's going to come out and be in the co-main event? I know, fighting in the UK, the crowd being there. How much does it affect you now? Now you're the interim champion versus things are a little bit different now. You have that strap around your waist. It's that feeling of John, the interim title can kind of give you that false sense of security of I've already made it. He's got to be careful that doesn't happen to him.
That's true.
I that I am very high on Tom Aspinall.
Yeah,
and I think he'll end up being the champion for quite a while. I think no one really in this can contest with him. I haven't seen as much as I would like because he makes it sometimes look easy.
I was to say, fights aren't lasting.
I would like to see rounds 3, rounds 4, rounds 5. We don't get that. So I want to see a little bit more of a sample size out of him. But I think he's got the potential to be a champion there for a long time, especially with this division right now and how it's shaken out. The heavyweight division is kind of the weakest it's been. There's John Jones, there's Tom Aspinall, there's Curtis Blaydes, and Pavlovich. That's kind of it. And he beat Pavlovich already pretty easily.
There's not. Pavlovich got beat by Volkov. So
there you go. So it's kind of that feeling of he's got a lot. He's got a lot to offer. The grappling, the speed with the hands. He's obviously has power. We saw in his last fight. He can do it all. So if he can keep his mental on track, and it seems like his father keeps him on track pretty sternly. So I think having that makes a big difference for him. It seems like he respects his father, looks up to his father. All of those things will make a big difference in his career. Making smart choices, understanding what the goal is and the focus. But John, if I'm looking at the Bet US odds, right? Curtis Blaydes the plus 250. So they obviously didn't get the memo on how the first fight went. So I'm looking at Tom Aspinall at minus 350.
Yeah. But see that to me says that the odds makers at Bet US are not too stupid.
No.
And they realize what's going on here. And it's that first fight, like I said, go ahead and watch it. It doesn't give you anything as far as what's going to happen here.
But let's go ahead and go to the next portion of this Bet US odds. Is that the over is plus 135 at 1.5.
1.5.
I mean, it's a 5-round fight.
It is a 5-round
So
fight.
1.5.
But if there's one thing that Curtis Blaydes has shown in the past, is he gets tired.
Yeah.
When he's trying to, especially when he's trying to wrestle. On the feet, is that a good fight for Curtis Blaydes?
Nah, probably not.
No.
I mean, look,
So
Curtis Blaydes did okay with Derek Lewis until he got knocked out, but he did okay with Derek Lewis there for a little bit.
Yeah.
And Derek's got some big power.
He does.
He's explosive, those type of
But
things.
Derek Lewis is a stationary target.
This is true.
Derek Lewis is a guy that doesn't move.
True.
Tom Aspinall moves. There's just a huge deal. I'm not saying that Derek doesn't have power in his hands. He absolutely does. He's a monster if he hits you, but he's a stationary target. Tom Aspinall is not. Tom Aspinall is up and moving and creates a lot of different problems.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and take you one more further on the prop bets. Tom Aspinall by KO, TKO, or DQ is a minus 150 on a prop bet there.
See, that hurts.
They're thinking that he's going to get the knockout. The TKO or the knockout is what they're thinking. I would have probably taken him maybe in the submission department, because if Curtis Blaydes is able to get him down, look for Aspinall to try to get the submission. That's at a plus 400. So that's for Tom Aspinall to win by submission. Is a plus 400. I mean, that might be something to take, because I think if Curtis Blaydes is able to get him down, I don't think that Tom Aspinall would really fight it too much. He'd be like, oh, I'm good here. I can go ahead and hit some submission off. If you do get taken down, look for him to fall to a position where he can attack his submissions in transition. Yeah. So that might be something to look into at plus 400, Tom Aspinall by submission. I don't see any of it. When I'm looking at Curtis Blaydes, these prop bets, you're looking at KO or TKO is a plus 450 for him to win by that. And you're looking at Curtis Blaydes by submission at a plus 2,200. So I'm not really liking those things there. I'm not liking that.
So you realize why that's plus 2,200, because it ain't happening.
Not some of them, But yeah, I think if you're gonna go by, let's scroll on down here. If I'm gonna take Tom Aspinall, let's see, by submission in round 1, it's plus 750. That might be a good one. Or you could take him by knockout. Let's see where we're at with Tom Aspinall in the knockout. Tom Aspinall in the knockout in the first round, it would be a plus 125. So they think that Tom Aspinall is going to get him out of there in the first round by knockout. And then it goes to round 2. It'll be a plus round 2 Tom Aspinall, which is weird, John. Maybe you can answer this. Round 1, Tom Aspinall knockout on the prop bet is plus 125 over Curtis Blaydes. Round 2, though, is a plus 3,450.
Well, the whole thing is they're trying to get you to bet on that because they believe it's over in one round.
Okay, but then round 3 is plus 900. So it went from round 1 at a plus
3,450
through 3,000.
It's got to be a typo,
John. We're not telling them, John. Let's put the money in. Let's go. Round 2 knockout.
I'll tell you what. I would rather go with a round 2 knockout than a round 1. Being honest.
Whew. I mean, I would just throw down the 50, the 25 bucks, $10.
$10. I don't care.
$10. I'm taking it.
It's a hamburger.
Yeah. I mean, look, you never know. Like Tom Aspinall may get taken down in the first round.
Did you see that, man? Keto George was like, hamburger.
Keto George thinking that's a good bet. Round 2, he may get the knockout in round 2. You never know. Tom Aspinall may get held down in the first round if he gets taken down, once or twice. Or just controlled against the fence for the first round. And second round comes around at 3,450 in round 2. Okay, I bet US. That's a prop bet for you guys right there. Tom Aspinall to win by knockout in round 2. That might be a good bet. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and go to the next one there, John.
Well, you got Bobby Green going up against the baddie in Paddy Pimblett. How do you see this one playing out?
Officially known as King Green now. He changed his name legally.
Legally, it is now just King Green.
Oh, he changed it legally. He changed it.
Yes, he did. The Bobby is no longer there.
I'm still calling his ass Bobby.
The King. You guys can kick rocks,
man. I fought him when he was Bobby. It's going to be Bobby.
I've known him Bobby for years.
Yeah,
It's gonna stay Bobby.
We're gonna keep it as Bobby because I like Bobby actually. Bobby's a great dude. He's been on our podcast. If you guys haven't seen that interview, go back through the archives and check it out. High as fuck, but it was a great conversation. We actually had to cut it a little bit short. It was about 40 minutes, 50 minutes long. We had to cut a little bit short because he was blazing and smoking, and while he was talking to us, and it got a little out of control. This could be a good fight. I actually think it's going to be a great
fight.
Yeah,
I don't think people are giving Patty the credit he deserves for. He's a good fighter. You know, people don't like the shtick and things like that, and so automatically he sucks. He doesn't.
No, he doesn't suck.
The guy can fight.
This is a good step up in competition for him. Bobby's getting older. Okay, I wouldn't say he's slowing down. But he still has a lot of pressure, but he has been. He took. He got the Drew Dober knockout. He hasn't been fighting like he had been earlier when making the run during COVID. He was so active during COVID and was having some great fights during that time.
Well, they do have a common opponent. If you're looking at it, Tony Ferguson. Patty went the 3 rounds with him, and then Bobby finished him right at the end with a submission.
Yeah. I mean, I look at, Patty will be the bigger fighter. He will be the physically bigger framed fighter. Yes. And when I'm looking at that, I think that may start to wear on a little bit. But I think stand-up wise, that Bobby's going to give Patty some problems. Yeah. Bobby's got to keep tight with the defense, which he normally does. He just can't afford for his back to be against the fence. That's when he gets into trouble because that Philly shell, that little roll, those type of things. When you put your back to the fence, it makes it more difficult to turn your shoulders and
you got nowhere to go.
Yeah, not only that, you can't dip your head back, you can't slide in, slide out, all of those things to counter. So he's got to make sure that he's taking the center of the cage. And I'll give him more success in the center of the cage against Patty. I also think that Patty's going to have a hard time taking him down and holding him down. I don't think that Patty can take him down and hold him down. I think he'll get him down. I'm just not sure he can hold him down.
Yeah, I look at it that Patty in the stand-up, Patty actually throws his hands well, and he's got good kicks. He hides his kicks behind his hands. He does a lot of things well. He's gonna have to keep himself from getting flustered by missing against Bobby Green, because if he starts to get flustered right away because he's missing, and then he starts to overextend, Bobby's going to eat him up. So he's got to just look at it and say, hey, this is all about just touching him. And when I get the opportunity to lay one in there, then I'll lay one in there. But I just want to keep touching him, touching him. And that's the way to beat Bobby. I don't see Patty having the wrestling to get Bobby down unless Bobby overextends on something and makes a mistake. Then he could, get to his side, get to his back, and get the takedown. But other than that, he's not getting a straight takedown. So this is going to be on the feet. And I look at it speed-wise, I think Bobby's still a little bit faster, not much. But, Patty Pimblett is not a slow person. But just the ability to remain calm in the fight and to sit there and to not worry about what's going on. Bobby's always relaxed. That's one of the things that helps him as a fighter. He doesn't press, he doesn't push, he just keeps on just doing what he does, and he's relaxed and he can go. Patty's going to have to really be in tune with himself as far as not throwing too hard, not putting too much energy out, and then not being able to get his air back. I look at it as a difficult fight for him. He can win the fight, there's no doubt, but I still say Bobby Green is the favorite in the fight.
Yeah, I would agree Bobby Green's the favorite in this fight based on the fact that Patty's been known to get tired in round 3. He kind of just clams up because he uses so much energy chasing things in the first round and a half. He's not the same fighter in round 3 as he is in round 1 and a half. And Bobby is, like you said, known. He's so relaxed out there. He's having fun. I mean, if he needs to ramp it up, he can. If he needs to slow it down, he can. He can wrestle if he wants. He very rarely does, but he'll just stay standing and just put pressure on you, try to push you around. He won't physically be able to push Patty around, but he'll be able to put the type of pressure that makes Patty feel uncomfortable. Now, this is where I feel like Patty may be able to get away with something, is that because Bobby Green sometimes will fight you like how Nick and Nate Diaz fight you. He'll just stand there and kind of wait for you to come to him, and then he'll just pot shot you and say, come on, fight me, come on, fight me. And when you run to the other side of the cage, he'll walk after you instead of like kind of galloping after you a little bit to make you feel the pressure. That'll give Paddy some time to get his breath. So if Bobby was smart, he would just kind of slowly walk him down and continuously put pressure on him to make him use that energy when he's not comfortable using it. When he feels like, I got to throw something, he's getting too close. Those are the things that will make Paddy tired faster.
Yeah.
And Bobby right now, like you said, he is the favorite, but it's pretty much even odds, man. The odds have Bobby at -120, Paddy Pimblett at -110. So it's not much of a favorite, but I'm looking at it says over. It's going to be over at 2.5 is -180, and under 2.5 is plus 150. So I mean, this is a pretty evenly matched fight. Betting odds pretty much understands it can go either way. Bobby is getting older. Paddy's making his come up. He just got married. Obviously, there's a lot of things going through his mind. This is his last fight, I think, on his contract. Also, I believe this is his last fight on his contract. So there's a lot right now staking on this. I think he took this fight very serious. I think when you get married, you understand this is for real now. Everything that I bring to the table, she's taking. So I might as well make sure I can get a little pocket change. So I got to win this so I can get some of my win bonus, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing this fight. If anything, I think it'll be super entertaining from a little bit of the trash talk in the cage, a little bit of the showmanship. It's going to be a fun fight. It'd be a really fun fight.
I agree.
Next fight.
All right, we got Christian Leroy Duncan taking on the RoboCop Gregory Rodrigues. That is the man with the split from this eyebrow to this eyebrow. A beautiful cut he once had. This is one of those ones, man. A lot of people are going to sit there and think that Duncan is going to just take it to Gregory Rodrigues. That just doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Gregory Rodrigues is a phenomenal jiu-jitsu practitioner. His jiu-jitsu is top-notch. He just doesn't seem to use it that much because he likes being in the stand-up. Now, I will say that I think that Duncan is faster. I don't think he's fought better opponents overall. So I think this is probably the best opponent that he's ever faced.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, to me, is a toss-up. It's a matter of if Duncan can get Rodrigues to get into the firefight with him and use his speed and his movement, he's going to do well in the stand-up. If he's crazy enough to crush that space and allow Gregory Rodrigues to get a hold of him and take him down, he does not want to be on the ground with Rodrigues.
John, I don't even have this fight on my fight news. It's on the ESPN and UFC website. It's not on there. So this must be the fight that they replaced the Manel Kape.
That's the one that they replaced. The one with,
so the Manel and Mokaev is the one that got bumped off to put this one on.
Don't ask me why.
A little bit of brief research into the Manel Kape case.
Let's hear it.
Manel Kape recently on a podcast said that he was in an altercation with Mokaev and split his head open with an elbow at the PI. He had teammates confirm the story, but that is, none of that is technically proven, but the internet is saying it's either that or a possible weight miss.
Oh, so they're on the prelims though, correct? They're not off the card.
Yeah, they're still fighting.
They're on the card. Yeah,
so weird, man.
It might be punishment for an altercation.
I'm not saying the elbow didn't happen. I'm not saying a cut didn't happen. It just depends on how long ago it happened. As long as it's 10 days, you're fine.
Yeah, they said it was like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. It's just punishment then. You two idiots were acting up at the PI.
That's exactly it, man. Well,
you went from being on the main card to...
I hope you learn. Because that's...
Yep. We pay you guys to fight inside a cage, not at our fucking Performance Institute. You
that's
dummies.
Yeah, the Performance Institute is there for you guys to get in shape and spar.
Yeah, I didn't know that this fight was on this card, but yeah, I would actually have to agree with you. I think that Gregory Rodrigues can be a tougher fight than people are giving him credit for. He will stand and trade. I don't think he'll force the takedown, but he is damn good on the ground. And if he does get this fight to the ground, I think he'll have success there. On these betting odds, you got Rodrigues at a plus 110 and Duncan at a minus 140. It seems normal. I mean, I would see that.
About right.
Rodrigues has been he does take a shot really well. He will keep coming forward. He has a dog in him. So if he does get dropped, he'll keep fighting. But if this fight does hit the ground, I think that he's able to probably get the submission. The top pressure he puts, the submission attacks, as well as some of that ground and pound, I think he'll have a good chance. But he's got to get the fight to the ground if he wants to win.
I agree with you. The whole key is Like he can be in the stand up with Duncan for a while. You can't be the whole fight.
No.
You know, if you're on your feet the whole fight with this guy, he's gonna win. So
Agree with you.
we'll see what he does.
Next fight.
The opening fight. We kind of talked about it a little bit. This is the one that I think is just a beautiful matchup. Arnold Allen, who has had some struggles lately, you know, this is a guy that, you know, had a beautiful record and everything at, I think, 16-1. I think it went to 18-1 or something like that, and had a couple of losses, but it was to great competition. And I think he's gotten better from that because he learned from those losses. He's taken on Giga Chikadze, who in the stand-up is phenomenal, just slick as hell. I think Arnold Allen has a absolute advantage on the ground. The real question is, will he try to utilize that and get it there, or is he going to get into a stand-up battle, which we've seen him do with other people? So did you learn from those experiences about how to be smart, or are you going to go right back to, okay, I'll bite down and bang with you? We'll see.
Well, Arnold's just got to believe in his abilities, man. I said this the last time he fought. Who was the wrestler he fought? Gamrot? I think he fought. Did he lose the game? He lost to a wrestler.
Well, the Russian that Aljo's fighting.
Yeah.
Evolov.
I want to say Evolov.
Yeah. I'm sorry. He should have beat him. Yeah. He was able to escape from the wrestling.
The Max Holloway fight, he just...
Yeah. But
you know,
Max honestly,
he fought Max's fight, and that's hard. That's not, you know, saying anything bad. That happens to everyone.
Yeah, Max, he's just tough to deal with. His movement, his ability to, you know, be accurate with his strikes. Max is a fucking problem for anybody.
Yep.
You know, and but when I'm looking at this fight, this is Arnold Allen's fight to lose. I don't see if he fights a smart fight, he should dominate this fight from beginning to end. I think to the point where Giga's going to be so paranoid of the takedown and the ability to be clinched against the fence that he's going to be like so worried about it that things are going to open up for Arnold Allen on the feet. So he'll either catch him on the feet or he'll be able to take him down and control the top position and dominate, whether it's ground and pound, submission attacks. Arnold Allen is damn good. He just got to start believing in himself. He's got to believe him and all the things that he can do. He can stuff takedowns. He stuffed how many takedowns in that fight? He was able to get back to his feet also too against Evolov. Like, he's got the skills. He shouldn't have to worry about nothing. And his body frame is exactly what I've been saying for almost a decade now. That body frame is tough to deal with. Tall, long, lanky, athleticism. You know, everything about him shows me he could end up being a champion one day. He just got to believe in himself. That's the biggest thing. None of us are going to be able to tell him. He's so talented. I'm looking forward to seeing if he can really get to that next level, because he's right there. He's chomping at the bit. This is that fight the UFC is looking to see. You need to win this fight, and you need to win it. Not just win it, but you need to win it impressively, because I think they have plans for him. I mean, they wouldn't have put him against Max, and they wouldn't have put him against, you know, Evolov if they didn't think that. They're like, dude, we believe you could be really damn good. You could potentially be champion.
Yeah,
we're not giving you a shot at Max if we don't think that. You know, look what they've been doing to Bilal Muhammad for fucking 3 years now. Okay, like it's like they're not pushing guys that they don't want to be champion.
But you got to figure Arnold Allen, when he came into the UFC, 10 straight wins.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then the 2 losses.
Yeah.
And so he only had 1 loss, you know, when he came into the UFC and stuff. And he's got, you know, wins against really good fighters. You know, even Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
You know, who went down to 145. I think that was too much of a weight, you know, drop for him. But like, he's, as you said, he's got it all. Mm-hmm. He's got all the talent in the world. He does a beautiful job of using his hands to get himself inside for takedowns when he wants. His takedowns are good. His ground game is good. And he needs to figure out, like, I have specific advantages in this fight. That's where I'm going to bring it.
Well, John, I think BetUS feels the same way. He's at minus 250, Arnold Allen is, and Giga's at a plus 200. And also, too, the over is minus 250 at 2.5 rounds, and the under is plus 200 at 2.5 rounds. Yep. So, I mean, I'm leaning towards Arnold Allen. That's where I'm leaning towards. I think that once he makes it a guessing game, am I going to take you down or am I going to strike with you? Am I going to take you down? If he doesn't do that, it's going to make it a tougher fight for him. But I think at minus 250, I don't see how Giga wins this fight if Arnold fights smart. I don't see it.
Fight smart. I don't either. And I think Giga is fantastic. You know, he's only got one loss in the UFC.
Yeah.
But his one loss was to a guy that, you know, you would have thought would have been that kind of fight that he would want, Calvin Kattar. You know, it's going to be a stand-up war. Calvin Kattar put it on him, man. He busted him up in that. So you never know. But I look at specifics as far as advantages, and Giga, I think, is the better striker overall, but not by much. But on the ground, I think there's a huge difference.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Next fight.
All right, we got Nathaniel Wood taking on Daniel Pineda. That is the main event of the preliminaries. Nathaniel Wood has just been fantastic. You know, he's moved up in weight, but goddamn, he just done so much from going bantamweight to featherweight. He's looked fantastic. Obviously, Daniel Pineda is a guy that's fought everybody. He's fought in a ton of promotions. He's tough as hell, but he's going to have his hands full with a younger, faster fighter that is good everywhere. And the guy can, truthfully, he can wrestle too now.
Yeah.
And he's fun to watch.
You know, they put these type of fights. They're like, oh, well, I haven't really heard of these guys, or they, you know, they're kind of like never really seen them fight. But this fight right here, they put this fight as the main event on the undercard for a reason.
Yeah, for a reason.
Let me explain to you why they do this, and just in case you guys don't know, is because they want you to get excited right before you spend that $80. They want you to feel like that you're paying for that same fight you just watched. Good. They're hoping you pay for the same. They're thinking you're going to get paid the same fight. Oh, I'm going to get the same fights on the pay-per-view if I pay for this. That's not always true, but I think this card is stacked enough with some good talented fighters on here that love to fight. And that's where I think the difference is when you're looking at pay-per-views. How many times have you seen those fighters on the main event, on the main card, just stand and throw down? Bobby Green posted something today. He's going, hey, the guy who did this, pointed to the center of the cage, the guy who did it first wasn't Max Holloway, buddy. It was me. And so he wants everyone to know he was the first one to do it. I got to go back and take a look at the history. John, maybe you would know. Do you have any stories about who did that first?
I don't, man. I'm thinking about it. You know, I've seen Bobby do it, but I don't know who was first in doing it. The first time I remember Max doing it, I reffed that fight, and that was against Ricardo Lamas. That was at UFC 199, I want to say. And I thought, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I love it.
Well, Bobby did it with Jim Miller. I don't know what fight card that was.
But that was after the Max Holloway versus Lamas fight.
I don't think so, because that's the one that Bobby posted saying, like, yeah, I did it first.
I wonder.
Yeah, interesting. We'll have to look that up then. Little research. George, can you help us on that?
Just a little. Here, hold on. Let's see. I'm going to look this up right now.
I think George is maybe ahead of you, buddy.
You think he's ahead of me? God damn him.
I mean, he's got a mouse and twiddly fingers. He might be able to get it.
He's had so many canceled fights with Jim Miller, and his last fight was against Jim Miller, so it wasn't that one. That's one I was kind of thinking.
No, a long time ago. I want to say it was like.
I see one with Josh Thomson, man.
Nah, you sons of
No, he didn't have one with Jim Miller.
Yeah, he did. He had one with Jim Miller.
All canceled.
All
of them canceled, man. Yeah.
I thought Bobby fought him right after Pat Healy did, or right before.
Well, Pat Healy would have been Strikeforce.
No, that was UFC.
Really?
Yep. Pat Healy and John. Let me educate you, man. Come on. That steel trap is not what it used to be.
No, he did. Pat Healy fought in the UFC. I know he was on Fox. I remember.
Yeah, I remember. But the reason why I remember it so much is because Pat ended up losing $140,000 in bonuses because he tested positive for marijuana.
Damn it!
I felt so bad. He got fight of the night and submission of the night or some shit like that. He ended up.
Yeah. If he's showing that with Jim Miller,
it sucks. Sorry. Interesting. All right. Well, I guess.
Yeah, he didn't fight Jim Miller.
Got it.
Well, he fought Jim Miller at UFC 300.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah.
All right, next fight.
All right, so before that, we have Molly, the meatball.
You can't call her meatball anymore, man. We got to change her name.
Dude, she's tight now, man. She's got abs. She's looking great. Going up against Bruna Brazil. this is a quality matchup. You know, both
Mm-hmm.
Bruna likes to throw, Molly likes to throw. Molly's been using her ground a little bit more, actually going after some submissions and stuff like that. But Molly is one of those people. She's a crowd favorite. People love to see her, and she absolutely gives everything she has in the fight, which always makes it fun.
We're going to see a lot of spinning attacks from Molly.
Oh man,
She's going to press to the fence.
spinning elbows, spinning back fist.
Yep.
Crazy.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
That's
I'm always cheering for Molly, man. I don't care who she's fighting. I'm always cheering for Molly. She's just, if you've ever been around her, and she's just a little ball of energy, and she's always smiling, always a
She
pleasure to be around.
Never says a bad thing about anybody.
No.
Nope.
At least not to my face. She hasn't said anything bad about me. I want to go ahead and talk about the Manel Kape and the Mokaev fight,
Okay.
and we'll kind of wrap it up on that. Is there any other fights on this card you wanted to chat about?
No, we're good with that.
Okay,
That's all right.
but let's talk about that Manel Kape fight and the Mokaev fight. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a fantastic fight in the flyweight division. But, Manel, the only problem with Manel is he's got all the tools. He just sometimes does not fight smart.
Mm-hmm.
And that is always a problem. If you're going to look at Mokaev is his kryptonite, because Manel wants to be on his feet. He wants to be throwing hard shots. He wants to be, using his kicks at his knees. And Mokaev is going to try to take him down. And on the ground, Mokaev is the better fighter.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. He's got the better wrestling. He's got the better ground game. His stand-up is not as good as Manel's. So you're looking at that old style, well, one's a striker, one's a grappler. Really, you are. And it's a matter of, can Manel keep Mokaev from getting him down? And I don't think he can.
Well, John, you and I aren't going to get into the rules too much, but let's go ahead and say what a grounded fighter is now. So that grounded fighter now changes. Not now. Oh, I've heard it was started today. That's what that's what the clip said today.
That is absolutely not the truth. So
that was me. Okay, so when does it start?
That new rule starts November 1st.
Oh, okay, never mind. Then let's not even talk about it right now. Let's go ahead and
Take that, John Jones.
Yeah, take that, John Jones.
That's John Jones.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because Mokaev likes to use that whole kind of sit in the squat butted position.
He will.
Yeah, and then he likes to kind of put his butt to the ground a little bit against the fence, and then kind of put a knee down, put a hand down. Likes to put his fingers down, get himself in trouble.
He likes to use that rule to keep himself safe, and he can still do it in this fight
until November. I think that Manel is going to give him a real big problem. I think the strength of Manel is going to be more. I think that his speed and athleticism is going to give Mokaev some big problems. He's gonna struggle, especially if Manel comes in shape. By round 2, by the end of round 2, those takedowns won't come as easy. Manel, though, what he's got to make sure is he cannot afford to settle on bottom. He's got to make sure that he is trying to get himself back up, and he's fighting every takedown to the bitter end, so he doesn't end up on bottom, just losing minutes, losing seconds, and just chilling down there. I go back to some of the old fighters, some of the old fights. There's fights that I gave away by just giving away, rounds, going, oh, I'm comfortable down here, I'm okay. The Bobby Green fight, there was one where I was
I'm not getting beat up.
Yeah,
nope, you're losing.
Clinched against the fence, just being held there, going, oh, I'm fine. Yeah, time's ticking away. I wasted 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes you could have been doing something. We said this about Jason Jackson when he lost his title in the last Bellator. You gave away the first round in a 5-round fight. It seems like a lot, but at the end of the day, he lost by 1 round. Yep. So you got to be very cautious and careful in those situations. And I think that Manel can't afford to give away any of those rounds whatsoever. So
we're going to see. It should be a great fight.
I think it's going to be a fantastic fight.
Yeah.
Fantastic fight. So. I want to give honorable mention to a couple people. Kiefer Crosby, good luck, my man. He's at a plus 3. He's at a plus 300.
He's got a tough opponent. He's got Sam Patterson.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough fight for him.
It's gonna be a tough one.
And then I'm also gonna give honorable mention to Jake Hadley, man. I really enjoy watching Jake Hadley fight. Fun fighter to watch. He's at a plus 170.
I was gonna say, he's another one's got a tough opponent.
Yeah,
he's got Loughran, and Loughran is just a buzzsaw.
And so those two guys, I really enjoy watching fight. Kiefer, someone that will die kind of on his shield. likes to stand and bang. Not everyone fights him that way, but and then also too with Jake Hadley, he's just good all the way around. But he's just a fun fighter. I like watching him fight. All right, guys. Well, hey, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our weighing in on the odds, brought to you by BetUS. I want to thank you guys for so much. Always continue to support us. And, there was one other thing I wanted to chat about. We were going to include this into this show, right?
Jake Paul. You wanted to mention.
Yeah. We're going to include this into this show here. Yeah. So I took a picture of something someone said from our show. They were in the comment section, actually on my Instagram. And they basically said, Joe Rogan said it best. We were talking about the Jake Paul situation. I had put out a tweet basically saying, like, how much longer are we going to pretend that Jake Paul is beating guys that are his size and his age? And, and then Joe, and there was some stuff. Joe had somebody on his show and was talking about it. I said, look, Joe says, if this was any other amateur boxer that was beating these MMA guys, you'd go, wow, this guy is really fucking talented. But because it's Jake Paul, people are automatically going to hate no matter what he does.
Why did he say amateur fighter? He's not an amateur fighter.
Let me see. Did you say amateur?
I thought you said amateur. Am I wrong?
No. It says, wow, this guy says, oh yeah. It does say, if this was any other amateur boxer that was beating these MMA guys, you'd go, wow. These guys, this guy's really fucking talented. But because it's Jake Paul, people are automatically going to hate no matter what he does. Do you want to go?
I'll let you go.
I look. Bottom line is I'm not hating on him. I actually enjoy the fact that he is making money doing this. Okay. To take what Joe said and also to take what everybody else, I think Morning Combat came out and said something as well, Brian Campbell and Luke Thomas. Just to simply put it, he is not fighting people in his weight class. That's all I'm simply saying.
Or his age class.
Yeah, I get the age thing, but look, let's just say like guys like Deontay Wilder fought, remember what's his name? Was it Ortiz? Ortiz is like 41, 42 years old. Deontay Wilder was a lot younger. There's nothing you can do about the age thing when you're talking about guys who are in the same weight class. No. You can't, the older guy could say, no, I'm not taking that fight. That happens all the time. I'm not going to fight a young guy. I've been here long enough. I'm not fighting that guy. I hear that all the time. But the thing is, when you want to say it's a real fighter fighting, and he's handpicking his opponents. Fine. Boxers do that all the time. But give me somebody in your weight class. Let's not forget Mike Perry was 170 in the UFC.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're like, oh, well, he weighed the same. They weighed the same. Mike Perry, look, fighters will do anything to make the money. Put quarters in your pocket to make weight, to make sure that the fight doesn't get canceled.
Never seen that
ever. But I'm just saying this, that Jake Paul is doing a great job promoting himself. Great job. Doing a great job of promoting Amanda Serrano. Great job. I'm excited about that because I love watching Amanda Serrano fight. Good for him. I'm glad that he's making millions. I'm not knocking any of the fact that he's making millions. I'm not knocking any of that. I think he does a great job building his promotion. I think he does a great job building his better site, like it's his gambling site better. I think he does a great job of all of that. My point was, let's stop pretending like he is fighting guys that are in his weight class. And if they are in his weight class, they are way older. And they're like, well, Mike Perry and him weighed the same, and then he was bigger, this and that.
No, they did. They did not weigh the same. Even in that one, they didn't weigh the same.
And in this one, they didn't weigh the same. When it came down to the, I think, weigh-ins is what people were talking about. They showed up and they weighed similar. You could say that, but let's just be honest. Mike Perry,
one guy putting weights in his pocket, and the other guy is cutting weight.
Yeah. To go back like 170, like his walk around weight is let's just say whatever the weight was, 185, 190. His walk around weight is that. Jake Paul is cutting that weight to get to there. Different. It's just different. Like MMA guys will cut weight. Both will cut weight. You don't see guys doing their walk around weight. And some of them did. There's a couple that did. You have Masvidal that did it. Donald Cerrone did it towards the end of his career, but they do it towards the end of their careers. These guys are doing it because they know that Jake Paul will pay them a lot of money, which is good. I'm happy that they're getting the cash grab. I'm excited for them to get the cash grab.
Yeah.
But my point is, though, is that I was going based off of Jake Paul's own words of him saying he wanted to be considered a legit boxer. He wanted to be considered one of the greats. He wanted to be someone that was going to be a world champion. If that's the case, then we need to start fighting people that are in your weight class. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to go ahead and give it a slide on the age, because if they're in the same weight class in real boxing, that doesn't matter. You know, the Mike Tyson thing, I don't know how close they are for real in weight, you know, and I'm also of the notion of the Mike Tyson thing. I don't want to see that fight happen, but that is a huge cash grab for both fighters. And so, I mean, I'm not going to speak on that because Mike knows what he's doing. Jake kind of knows what he's doing in promoting that fight. They understand they're going to make probably 30 million each, somewhere in there, maybe 25, 30 million each, you know, and for that fight. I'm not mad at that. I'm saying that if you want to be considered one of a legit boxer, we've got to stop pretending. I'm going to go ahead and go after the Mike Tyson fight. Can we have you start fighting guys that are in your weight class?
No.
Legit. And you don't think you will?
No, that's not. It all comes down to this. Has he been successful? He's got a 10-1 record, right? 10 wins, 1 loss. His 1 loss is to Tommy Fury. Okay, the only loss is to the only guy who is close to his age and close to his size. I'll say they're both the same size. I think Tommy might even be a little taller, but he doesn't. They weigh the same. Okay, so you take a look, and that's his only loss. If I bring up, you know, the people that he's fought and everything, and you know, even some of the names, you look and you go, who's that? You know, Andre August. Who's ever heard of Andre August? You know, let's be honest. You know, Ryan Borland is another one, and this is where and I'm not putting him down in any fashion for those fights, because every fighter does it. If I said, hey, you know, Mike Tyson did his first, 20 fights in about a fucking 14-month span. He was fighting every month and multiple times every month and stuff. But you wouldn't recognize any of those names either. But the fact of the matter is Mike Tyson at that time wasn't doing pay-per-view, and he wasn't making millions of dollars. You know, so when Jake Paul, and this is nothing against him, I'm not putting him down. I'm saying he's smart. He is his promoter. He's the one that's putting, I love the skits he'll do where he's, in the hospital bed because his back is killing him based upon his opponent is not doing what they're supposed to do to sell the fight.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there, oh, I'm in pain, right? And you look and you go, yeah, I understand it. So why do you change from that, Josh, when you're making millions and you're being successful? Why would you change?
I'm just going based off of his own words and what he said. And what he said was that he
wants to be one of the best,
a legit fighter.
Yeah. So there's people that are going to consider him a legit fighter now, and there's people that are never going to consider him a legit fighter.
That's true.
Is he a legit fighter?
I think he has the potential to be one.
Look, he's legit.
Yeah.
Anyone that wants to sit there and say he's not legit. No, the sumbitch can fight. Okay. He's got skill. He goes out there. He throws his hands well. He's not a sitting target. He does a lot of things well. He's been trained well. So he's a legit fighter. Now, is he ever going to be a legit contender? That is where I'll go, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because I think he'll never put himself in that position. And take it as it is,
Yeah.
This is where people complain, and I saw that Luke Thomas and Brian were talking about it, and he called it naked sandbagging. I have no idea what naked sandbagging is.
I don't know either.
I know what sandbagging is, but naked sandbagging is a completely different story that I don't understand. But the whole crux of his context is, hey, you're not fighting people, as you're saying, that are of your weight, your age, your caliber, the way it should be. So until you do that, I'm not going to sit here and give you credit as a good fighter.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it, but it's not being honest, because he is a good fighter.
He is.
And I would love to see him fight people that could challenge him. But when you're being successful like he is, and you're making that much money doing this, why would you change? Like you said, because he says, I want to be one of the best.
Yep. That's the only reason why I'm saying this. Like, if
there's
he
always going to be that
out,
time when he can say, I was one of the best.
He's already saying that. He's already saying that.
It doesn't mean it's true.
No, I get it. But I'm saying, like, he's already saying that. My thing is, if you're going to come out and say that you want to be considered a real boxer, and that's all I'm going based off of. Those are that's out of his mouth. And so I'm going based off of that. And then I'm like, okay, look, I understand, like, pro boxers, like you said before, they have 20, 30 fights, especially Mexican boxers. They have 20, 30 fights against guys.
They have 40.
With like 0-40 records.
That's because it's the damn fucking local goddamn bull ring against someone out of the crowd.
Yeah. I mean, you almost consider it like Muay Thai fights, like when the kids are fighting at like 9, 10 years old, 8 years old. I mean, their first, 30, 40 fights are against old people, that are pretty much done, and they know they can beat them, and they're just getting reps in, rounds in.
Yeah.
That's how boxing is. But like I said, when I'm answering the comments that Joe made, nothing but respect for Joe. I just look at it differently in terms of he's not fighting guys in his weight class. I would be impressed if he was fighting guys in his weight class, but none of these guys are in his weight class. And I saw Jake Paul come out and said, no, I only weighed 210 by at fight time. Literally, Ariel Helwani, he goes, no, he's about 230. And then the other, I think it was T Wood, was on the call. He's like, yeah, he's about, he's somewhere around there. Like, then someone must have seen him weigh in. I mean, if you're saying things like that on the actual on the broadcast, someone must have seen you weigh in, or somebody knows something.
Well, you don't say that on the broadcast unless you know it's true.
Yeah. So I mean, that's where we're at. And look, Mike Perry is, like I said, was a 170 pounder, and now is was fighting at 200, 190 something. I think is what they weighed in, 189, 190, whatever it was. That's his walk around weight, whereas Jake is cutting the weight to get there. I get it. You took the money for the fight. Mike Perry's a fucking dog and a savage, but let's not sit here and say that it's the same thing, just it's not. So that's all I wanted to answer that little comment that was said on Instagram. Someone had said something to me. It's Brandon Z. That's who it was. So ITZ.Brandon Z answered your comment there. So wanted to let you know that's how I felt about it. Good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. John, take us away, bud.
For everyone out there, hope you enjoy the fights on Saturday pay-per-view. I know you got to pay for it, but it is worth it. I hope you tune in like I'm going to, and we will see you.